JUnit 5 versus JUnit 4 in JUnit. Here you can see the different the JUnit 5 versus JUnit 4. Here they are before hole instead of before class, and at after all instead of at after class, and at before each instead of at before, and at after each instead of at after, at disable instead of at ignore, at tag instead of at category, assert throws instead of expected attribute, assert timeout instead of timeout attribute. Here the annotation type before class. Sometimes several tests need to share computationally expensive setup, like logging into a database. While this can compromise the independence of test, sometimes it is a necessary optimization. Annotating a public static void no arc method with at before class causes it to be run once before any of the test method in the class. The at before class methods of super classes will be run before those of the current class unless they are shadowed in the current class. Annotation type after class. If you allocate expensive internal resources in a before class method, you need to release them after all the tests in the class have run. Annotating a public static void method with an at after class causes that method to be run after all tests in the class have been run. All after class methods are guaranteed to run even if a before class method throws an exception. The after class methods declared in superclasses will be run after those of the current class unless they are shadowed in the current class. Annotation type before. When writing test, it's common to find several tests need similar objects created before they can run. Annotating a public void method with at before causes that method to run before the test method. The at before methods of superclasses will be run before those of the current class unless they are overwritten in the current class. No other ordering is defined. If you annotation type after in org.junit, if you allocate external resources in a before method, you need to release them after the test runs. Annotating a public void method with at after classes causes that method to be run after the test method. All at after methods are guaranteed to run even if a before or test method throws an exception. At after methods declared in a superclass will be run after those of the current class unless they are overridden in the current class. Annotation type ignore. Sometimes you want to temporarily disable the test or group of tests. Method annotated with tests that are also annotated with at ignore will not be executed as tests. Also, you can annotate class containing test method with at ignore and none of the containing test will be executed. Native JUnit 4 test runners should report the number of ignore test along with the number of tests that ran the number of tests that failed. Annotation type category marks a test class or test method as belonging to one or more categories of test. The value is an array of arbitrary classes. This annotation is only interpreted by categories runner at present. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.